Alrighty then. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out to another Brony Debates Live. I hope you are all doing well out there, getting a good start to the weekend here. It's Friday. We got through the work week. To my Christian brothers and sisters out there, happy Good Friday. Or should I say that? I mean, Good Friday isn't really good if you really think about the historical context of it. But anyway, we're coming up on Easter, and I'm excited about that. How are we all doing tonight? I got a good story, or not story, but I got a good topic for you tonight. We really need to just put it to bed about how Alicorn OCs are the cancer of the Brony fandom. They always have been and always will be. And to prove this, I brought on 3 Alicorn OCs and the biggest poser that I've ever known in my whole life. So everybody, say hello to the guest of honor tonight, the one who suggested this topic literally every time I opened up the door for topic suggestions, Mr. Princess Oxymoron Sunshine Sparkle. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I am doing well.
All
Still
right.
stuck in the multiverse, but doing well.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get your videos done that explains that whole nonsense sometime in the near future.
Yeah, when work stops beating me up and shooting bolts at me.
Yeah, he told me about that earlier today. That sounded pretty scary. And we've also got Princess Heather Blossom right next to you, just shoveling pizza into her face as usual. How are you doing tonight, Heather?
I'm fueling myself for your inevitable defeat.
My inevitable defeat. You got high hopes there, little missy. And also joining us tonight, we've got, once again, Mr. Pony Cordero. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Also, everyone knows that the cancer of any fandom is haters, just like yourself. And also, I'm pretty sure Good Friday was good for everyone except literally one guy.
Yeah, well,
And everyone that supported that guy.
Well, yeah, him and the 2 people
They were
on
fine
his...
too.
Well, him and the 2 people on his left and right. Plus, I think one of his friends hung himself that day. I mean, it was just really not a good day.
And his family was all sitting there watching it.
Yep.
His poor mom is in
Yep.
the audience.
And his brothers and sisters.
Just, well, shoot, I don't know. That one's a little contested. Anyway. Oh,
And
I see.
Peter was like, "Who's that guy?"
Yep.
I don't know that guy. Nah, fam. I was never a brony.
Yeah. And alrighty then. So we're waiting on the last person of the panel to get back. You might have seen her in some of her other videos. I should hope so. She's got 13 times my subscriber base, and she's propped up ever so nicely right there on the middle of the table. Is
not by choice.
Yeah. Well, I put you there and you didn't say anything about it, so you've lost your opportunity to complain.
Me.
I don't need to tell you anything, okay? What you need to do is sit there and listen. Everybody say hello to Lightning Bliss. Bliss, thanks for joining the stream tonight. How are you doing?
I was better.
Hey, you just sit on the pizza box and keep it warm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on. So before we get any further, I've got to give a big shout out to my very generous supporters on Patreon, especially those on the $10 and up tier. Most of which are in this gosh darn panel tonight. We've got Princess Sunshine Sparkle, Princess Heather Blossom, Pony Cordero over here. We've also got Shady Oak Ministries, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Sodden Girder, Senko, Kyle Christensen, DJ Skywalker, Stephen A. Wilson, Rein-Kun, Bootleg Bard, and Dark Malcontent, author of the Metaverse series. All these guys have their own content linked in the description. Please check them out. If you'd like to get on the show, I'd love to have you. We just need you on the Patreon for as little as $1 a month to help make my bills easier to pay. Now then, with all of that being said, I have to ask you guys the question. So, Alicorn OCs, despite only making up about 3% of the Brony fandom, make up exactly 65% of the horrible, cringy backstories. Sunshine, what do you have to say about this, and why did you want to talk about this topic tonight?
Are those FBI statistics? Where'd you get those? some racist alt-right.
First, where did you pull those statistics from? Pluto?
You're gonna have to ask you to cite your sources.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you hearing
Equestria
this?
Daily. The most reliable Brony news network, right?
Okay.
I don't know.
The reason I've wanted
That sounds like
to
some
do this-
Luna Wing stuff right there. Sounds like an alt-night conspiracy.
Fake news, fake news, fake news.
Let's hear it, Sunshine.
The reason I wanted to do this topic, though, is because I think it's fair to get at least a point from every type of person out there. And I noticed that out of everyone, that you were one of the ones that I haven't seen do a debate on Alicorn OCs yet.
Now, fun fact, early on in my video making career, probably like 2013, I think, I actually did a Brony Debates Alicorn OCs where I think that video is about 7.5 minutes long altogether. And here's the thing, I don't remember what I said. That was 8 years ago. And
So it needs to be retouched up.
it was 8 years ago, and I really did not want to go back and listen to my horrible mic quality and look at my horrible visual production value. So we're dealing with the new old Brawny. I'm probably going to say roughly the same sort of thing. So so now that that's out of the way, what else did you want to say, Sunshine?
Yeah, it needed to be retouched up on, even if you had done it at some point, because you got a lot of newer alicorns out there. You got a lot of different perspectives out there from different people, especially when you got half of the all but you here going up with the alicorns.
Yeah. So what made you want to be an alicorn?
Ironically, the person in this chat, one of the people in this chat, inspired my character. I want to thank Lightning Bliss for that. I saw her video on Alicorn OCs while I was attempting to make my character, and I saw her video on how she made hers. And out of all of my characters of OCs, of different fandoms and stuff I've ever made, I've put more work into Sunshine than I have in any other character I've ever made.
Alrighty then. So I think we just proved that alicornism is a toxic plague that spreads.
No.
It's contagious.
You proved that to yourself. You haven't proved that to
I am
anybody
dealing with the
Right.
statistical evidence that's right here in front of me. I've got 3 alicorns that came from other alicorns right now. Okay, so Bliss, how about you tell me why you became an alicorn?
Well, first, I'm happy that I was able to inspire people. Suck it, Brony.
Brony is the one that got me into the My Little Pony fandom, Bliss.
That's fair.
Yeah, take
That's
that back seat
inspired
where
the
you
character.
get in the back of the bus where you belong, Lightning Bliss.
No, make me.
Brony, you're only first in my list of favorite in the fandom. Lightning Bliss is second. You're only first because you got that. You got me in
all
this
right. So
fandom.
let's hear what Bliss has to say. Bliss, tell us a little bit about why you are the degenerate OC that you are.
Degenerate OC. Well, first off, I need to point this out because I made the one mistake that I think a lot of fans make. They don't do their research about it before they actually do something, and that I was one of those. I was thinking about this on a personal means. Now, originally, when I made my OC from Pegasus into an Alicorn, it was really just to represent a personal symbolism for myself. I was the first of my family to not only get married and have an actual wedding, but I was also the first to graduate from college. None of my siblings had gone to college except me. So I guess it was my own way of signifying a new step into my life, more or less. And I wanted to basically display that into my OC, more or less. Like, I have ascended into a new life existence or something. But then it dawned on me after I started seeing a lot of reviewers and videos coming out about alicorns, and a lot of them were terrible, horrible, and people were viewing alicorns as extremely cringy. And OC, it's like, oh my gosh, you have an alicorn OC, that must mean you are super OP, and oh, you could do nothing wrong, you must be the perfect little princess. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, I am nothing like that. And so I immediately started to do more research about there's got to be some good alicorn OCs out there. There's just got to be. And then I discovered it's not about being an alicorn OC in itself. It's about writing a good character. It doesn't matter if it's an alicorn, a demon, a dragon,
Or all
anything
three.
OP. Yeah, or all three. There are OCs that exist like that. Oh my
I know there
gosh.
is, and if there wasn't, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation because people would be handling the subject of alicorns in a tasteful, respectful manner. But especially
Except you.
especially early on in the
You're the
fandom,
one not.
especially no, you know what I meant. Early on in the fandom, there were so many Alicorn OCs, and every other story on FimFiction that wasn't a Clopfic was some dude's Alicorn OC, and it was always the same tropes. So that's why, that stereotype doesn't come from nothing. Bliss is what I'm getting at here.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. It's very unfortunate too, but I am forced to agree with you because I've seen it. And so what ended up happening is, well, went from a personal reason behind it. Like, I didn't think there was any harm in it. And then seeing the backlash of it all in the community, it kind of, when I started getting into this as a job, I realized that, okay, if I'm going to own up to being an Alicorn, this is probably going to be one of the hardest things I'm going to do in this fandom is owning up that I have an Alicorn OC.
You had to come out? You had to come out as an Alicorn?
I have to come out.
Oh my god, I knew you were part of the community.
I mean, you couldn't take one look at that hair dye and figure that out?
I thought she was saying, like, I don't know, Christians love rainbows.
Everybody loves rainbows. What are you talking about?
Irish people and stuff and leprechauns. It's fine.
You could have been Irish.
Yes.
But
go ahead.
So I wanted to prove to everybody that no, there is no way in flying heck that I am a powerful Alicorn or a powerful OC in general. I am insecure. I have social anxieties. I'm always worried about people judging me. I strive to be a good person and not be full of myself and treat others the way I want to be treated. I am not perfect at all. I don't even classify. See, some people will base their OCs, like, let's say a unicorn. For a lot of people, it's because they're into actual magic or witch or religions of witchcraft or Wiccans.
Yeah.
A lot of people will do that, or some people will choose to be an earth pony because they feel like their strongest talents are literally in physical strength. It makes sense. I've had this discussion with Aeon of Dreams several times, but why I wanted to represent myself as an Alicorn is to prove that you can have a good Alicorn OC as long as you create a character that is always challenged by either a goal, an obstacle, an achievement they want to reach. If there's no challenge though, then you're going to run into problems. It's not going to be a good character if the character doesn't have something to face and challenge.
Alrighty then. That's pretty interesting. We might be able to work with that and redeem you yet. Princess Heather Blossom, why are you an Alicorn? Tell us your story.
Yes, I know, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is why you're all here. I'm the most important person here. No one else. Anyways, like Lightning Bliss, I think me having an Alicorn OC is actually a sign of growth because I had an OC I'd made, like everyone else on General Zoi's Pony Cordero, many years ago. Brony, you would have loved it. It was disgusting. It was monochromatic, plain brown. It had brown eyes, and it always wore like a denim outfit because I couldn't decide on what its freaking cutie mark was, so I hid it. And I was very unhappy with it. It was very lame. You could probably find it back on my channel a while back. But then, Season 3, the ending, Magical Mystery Cure, had Twilight turn into an Alicorn. And that was a revelation for me of what an Alicorn really was. It's just a higher state of being. It isn't being God. It's why, like, I see Celestia not as, like, a godly figure like a lot of people did in the early days of the fandom. But like Gandalf or like other high, powerful characters that are flawed but are still characters. They are not unfathomable and they're not unreachable. It was a big time of growth for me when I decided to be an Alicorn OC. Like, I made my first OC, like I said, on General Zoi's Pony Cordero, like everyone else. But when I decided to be an Alicorn, I actually drew it myself. I finally took steps to try and learn how to draw and how to do it great. And I think you've noticed I've developed my art skills a lot since then. I'm not scribbling and erasing stuff on a book anymore. I'm drawing on iPads. I can make vectors and assets for my own videos. Being an Alicorn just was the beginning to a whole bunch of creative avenues for me. And I think it is that way for a lot of people. Like you said, in the beginning of the Brony fandom, there were tons of Alicorn OCs, but there's not as much now, if you notice, because for a lot of people I knew, being an Alicorn was their first step, because their OCs probably didn't even stay Alicorns. It was a beginning phase for them to decide what they wanted, because they were at first not sure which pony race they'd want to be, so they just decided to be all of them. But from there, they grew.
All right. So we'll file that away for a minute here. And Cordero, what do you think about Alicorn OCs? What's your take on all of this?
Well, first of all, you guys might not know this, but the lore behind my OC is I'm actually an Alicorn OC and not an Earth Pony. You see, I tragically lost my powers, my horn and my wings. At the same time, I tripped on a construction site and fell onto a grinder, and it got my horn, and then I fell down the scaffolding, and it got my wings caught and torn off, and they had to cut them off at the hospital. It was really tragic. Celestia and Luna were there, and everybody was crying about it. But the princess said that I could still be a prince, even though I'm not. I don't have the Alicorn powers anymore, because I'm so good at the magic of friendship. And then everybody clapped and cried at how beautiful that moment was. And Rainbow Dash is my best friend.
I should sue you for plagiarism.
For a guy who's literally been through the grinder, you look great.
You kind of just checked 2 out of 3 of the worst things you could possibly do with your character.
Good. What do you mean?
And to make matters worse, then he put on that hat to cover his nub where his horn used to be.
Oh my God! Like, you have space to talk, Mr.
I was gonna say, do you have any space to talk, Brony?
That's the joke.
Why don't you look in the mirror without that blazer for a couple hours?
We both have beautiful bald heads. I'm just willing to admit it.
And yet hide it.
So the thing about Alicorn OCs is it doesn't even matter if anybody's good at making an Alicorn OCs or if they're good or not. It doesn't matter. They're all good. This is a show about magical Gokus. It's a show full of magical Gokus. But, I can't make my own magical Goku because, no, mine will be lame and too overpowered at a Mary Sue. What am I, a writer? Am I some kind of showrunner? No, I'm just a guy here. I'm just a guy with power fantasies like everybody else, and I want to give my character all the power and all the advantages in the world, who can go out and make friends with everybody and blow shit up and have a good time, because I can't do that in my own real life. It's called escapism, Brony, and some people like it. And you're holding these people to these obnoxious standards of, you have to be good and stuff. I'm not writing a novel here, unless I am on fanfiction.com. I'm just trying to have fun. Just trying to have a good time. Why do you hate people having a good time?
You know, I know he's slightly being facetious, but I totally agree.
How dare you? I'm dead serious.
Agree.
I mean, as long as you own up to it, that's fair.
Hell yeah.
Because I take issue with people not making peace with reality. I did.
You're a horse.
Escapism
is.
Escapism is good. Escapism is good in small doses, but you Alicorn OCs, you people always take it to the extreme, and you base your whole personality around it. Now, the reason Alicorn is such a big deal. Now, there should have never been more than 2 Alicorns. Whoever thought there should have been more than 2 Alicorns, they're a horrible person, right? Sure, we got something, we managed to salvage it somewhat with some of the stories that we got throughout the show, but initially...
It's back to M.A. Larson again.
Yeah, initially, it was a horrible idea, right? The closest thing we should have ever gotten to a 3rd Alicorn was Sonic Rainboom with Rarity and that butterfly wings thing that she had going on, right? But you got... now, it's supposed to be...
Back to 2 debates ago.
It's supposed to be an enlightenment of... achieving the highest level of what you can. It's not supposed to be the beginning of your growth as a person. Twilight Sparkle, and we can assume also Cadence, ascended to that level because it's basically like reaching your black belt in karate. You've gotten down what you're supposed to do, and from then on, it's mastering it, which is what the rest of the show was about. It was you had a lot of elements of Twilight now coming into her own in that new role. It wasn't just a self-discovery. It had a lot. So you guys are jumping the gun and totally disrespecting the lore when you make yourselves Alicorn OCs. And then
the lore.
Yes, and then we get things. And then we
This
get
only
things
works
like
if you're
Donut
in the
Steel.
show.
Donut Steel is not that much of a.
wonderful.
Yes,
It's art.
it's hilarious, but it is not that far off from the truth.
That's what makes it
He
art.
was the best.
All of this stuff only matters if you're writing characters for the actual show. The rest of us are just trying to fulfill power fantasies.
We don't acknowledge that our characters would actually work in canon with the show, and I never would want my character in the show because then I wouldn't own rights to her anymore. So no thanks.
If I
Legally, I would not be part of the show, but
Yeah.
I have thought of how my character would be handled in the show.
Same. Yeah, same.
Totally. And I would like to say that, like, choosing, like, okay, if we're going back, I'm flipping between reality and the OC canon, but, like, choosing to be an Alicorn was the first step to being an Alicorn. And the Alicorn, like, it's not the final stage of evolution, man. Like, look at the Alicorns we are presented with in lore. They aren't, like, sure, certainly they're very successful and almost fully realized characters, but they are still flawed and have a lot of growing to do. You could see that when we finally did get to follow the Royal Sisters on their vacation, they too still had to grow as adults, getting along and stuff like that. Like, still become, and like freaking, like most of the Alicorns we're presented with are still incredibly flawed people. Like, Luna was Nightmare Moon. She was an Alicorn when she made the decision to take over the freaking world. This Twilight still has lapses. I would say we are very respectful of lore. Like, we are Alicorn OCs. We know who we are, and we're at peace with it. But we still have hurdles we'll have to cross or jump over. I don't know, horses.
Unless you're Mary Sue.
Unless you're Mary Sue, but Mary Sue's in a league of her own.
Mary Sue's Mary Sue.
Mary Sue.
Yeah,
is Mary
exactly.
Sue. I don't know
That's
if
just
I
the
can
rule.
say that.
She's Mary Sue.
I think it's a sign of emotional immaturity when you can't pick, when you can't have enough introspection to make a character that's supposed to be based off yourself and have, an assortment of traits that you can pick out, and you can't pick which ones you think you represent yourself more, so you just go with all of them, right? You can't decide if you want magic or to fly or to be really good or to have a connection with the earth and be grounded, so you pick all of it. And
Because I want all of them. Because of course I do. Imagine you're about to be created, and God just turns to you before He creates you, and is like, "So, do you want to be Dwayne the Rock Johnson with Stephen Hawking's brain, or do you want to be a quadriplegic? Which one are you picking?"
Well, those are two extremes of those are two high extremes there. Okay, so let me play into your extreme, right? I obviously don't want the quadriplegic one because then I'm not going to be able to function as a normal person. But if I'm Dwayne Johnson with Stephen Hawking's brain, then what left is there for me to accomplish? There's no way for me to get the sweetness out of life that comes with that really hard work. No. Yeah, but oh my
They
goodness.
have to work to be what they are, but also, like, you think being smart and strong is all there is to life. You have to grow as a person. Or do you have humility? Do you have personal connections? Do you have a goal to reach with these skills and attributes that you have? Are you a kid?
Yeah, but when you start with all of it, you have nowhere to go. You're not going to have that motivation to keep reaching for the next level.
What if your next level is better than anything mankind has ever achieved because you started so high? What if you can go even higher?
Again,
There's
it's all
always
about
somebody
challenge.
stronger and more powerful than you. You
Yeah, like,
always
if
have
you think
another
about
level
it-
to achieve.
If
It's
you're
like-
There has to be challenge.
I was born an athlete and a super genius and as funny as Robin Williams, and by the end of my arc, I'm a freaking self-made Green Lantern because why not? Just keep going higher, scale up.
think of it this way: you're Superman, but stories involving Superman are still interesting because there's still things to challenge him.
Well,
yeah,
he gets
you just
his
gotta scale the universe.
he gets his challenges more so from moral quandaries, and the best parts, and that's
not
another
true.
thing. The best parts about Superman, the best stories about Superman, don't involve Superman all that much, because Superman is the goal, and it's when he tries to relate to other people, it doesn't really work as much. So like take
Have you read a Superman comic?
recently, I mean,
They find ways. They power him. They challenge him on a power level. They just scale things in the universe to come power him, and they'll also give MacGuffins to guys like Lex Luthor, so that Lex Luthor can actually challenge him from a power perspective and not just hold a gun to a baby's head and say, "You better do what I want, Superman."
And we haven't even started on Darkseid.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
well, that was going to be my next point. Is when you just power scale like
to a
that.
baby's head?
No, power scaling. If you just power scale on a on a universal scale like they do with Superman and like they do with Darkseid, we've had this debate before on this show, and usually I'm the only one that says you lose me. Because I think that's a sign of bad writing when you go to that level, because like most people don't really understand just how big even the Earth is, much less on a galactic scale. And then Superman sneezes and blows up a literal solar system. You lose me. I don't think that's good writing. It wasn't good and I've never met a good writer that writes power scaling like that either.
It sounds like you're equating power scaling to the way DBZ does power scaling, which admittedly does overcreep it. But like read Superman comics or like Marvel universe, they do a really, really good job of keeping the universe balanced while it gets to a universal scale and with powerful stuff. Because the problem with power scaling, I think that you're alluding to, is it becomes too linear. Like in Dragon Ball Z, it starts feeling like whose number is higher than the other. Like you can blow up one planet, I can blow up 5 planets in a single blast. Like that's like linear power scaling. But what comic books do a really good job of, since we're on Superman and stuff, is they manage to expand laterally as well as vertically. So it's not just who has more raw power. There's different kinds of power, and there's cunning ways to get around it, which is why you end up with Batman being able to be in the same league with Superman in certain regards, and why Lex Luthor is a threat and not just punched straight into the Earth's core and murdered. Because they find ways to have lateral strength as well as vertical strength, which is why Superman can have challenges that are interesting in those worlds. That's good power scaling. The power scaling you're thinking of is where it just stays on a power level, like literally Dragon Ball Z. It stays a power level, and they still have that problem in Super. And I feel like that's like your sole perception of power scaling. I'm accusing you of.
You might be right. Does anybody have anything they want to add or take away from what Cordero just said?
I just really want to watch a Superman movie right now.
Well, that's unfortunate because I was about to say there's no good ones, but then I realized, no, there's no good live action ones. You gotta...
No, like the first 2 were good. Superman 3 and Superman 4 sucked.
I was just never a Superman fan, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know about the Man of Steel shit, though. I've never watched that. But the OG stuff. The OG was good.
Maybe watch the first 2 movies, the Christopher Reeve ones, but don't like, honestly, diving into the comic source material is always there's a reason the comic book nerds are so insufferable, is because they're like, we swear this stuff is deep if you would just dive into it with us, and then people say no. But like this, they all the stuff people complain about comic books being shallow, they're actually not. They're really, really solid storytelling, but they just have a reputation of being comics for kids. The Superman punches the world.
Kind of like My Little Pony.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, is
issue.
that is in the comics that actually does happen. I'm pretty sure that was most of the Silver and Bronze Age of comics, which you just described right there. And then we have that same problem when it comes, we'll cycle back to the topic here of Alicorn OCs and the way that people write that. So here's another thing, is that Alicorn OCs, being what they are and living up to the stereotype more often than not. And I got lucky that I found, I'll say 2 in this call that don't really have super cringy backstories. But for the most part, the rest of them do. Thank
Wait.
you.
Which two does he mean?
Oh yeah, which one does he mean? That makes me
definitely not
nervous
me.
now. I'm really
I have the
insecure
best.
now.
I have the
Good.
best backstory.
Good.
know
I
what I'm talking
want
about.
good. I want you on the back foot. it'll prove my point. Okay, but it tarnishes the rest of the image of the fandom. Part of the reason we couldn't appeal to the mainstream and couldn't ever cross over into other fandoms is because other fandoms would look into us and see unironic donut steal and go, holy frick, that's cringe. And then, you know, we have, and then at every single Brony convention for the first 5 years of the fandom, somebody would pull the fire alarm.
Oh yeah.
Really? That's a thing.
That's
Oh,
true.
what the?
It happened twice at BronyCon. It happened twice at the Grand
Gala.
Brony Gala. It happened at least once at Everfree Northwest. It's happened at least once at BabsCon. It happened at Las Pegasus, and yeah, I think there's more that
That is committed trolling.
It's all different people, and it's usually when the convention space has to share with any other fandom. Other fandoms do not like bronies. Bronies ponify everything. But if you go into another fandom that's not furry and say I'm a brony, there's a good chance, especially between 2012 and 2015, they kick you right out.
Have you ever told a brony that you're an Equestria Girls fan?
No, I haven't done that myself, but I know that in 2013 and 14 that was a real hot topic.
You get the same reaction when Rainbow Rocks came out. Me and Keo and a bunch of Vince and some we all had our little Equestria Girls crew. We literally had to come out to other bronies of no, it's really good, and it was literally the same reaction that you get coming out to other people about being a brony. Be like, what? But it's just a stupid toy commercial kid show. It's like, wow, that sounds familiar. Like we called ourselves bronies in the fandom. Like we're bronies. We literally have to come out to other bronies that we like Equestria Girls. Everything is secular.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think I heard Heather about to say something before.
I was about to say that I don't find that as common these days. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and I've seen crossovers that worked out just fine. Like, shoot, I'm losing my train of thought here. What was the series I was going to say?
That's another thing about Alicorn OCs is that Horn takes up too much of your brain power and you lose your train of thought.
You lose my train of thought because we spent like a half hour talking about Superman.
All
To
right.
be fair, I think I started it.
I stand by that tangent. That was a good tangent.
Yep.
I
I'll agree
definitely
with
stand by
that.
your tangent. I respect it. But cycling back, I think we're getting off topic again because we're talking about being a brony in general.
Well, but the topic of the night is how bad are Alicorn OCs. So
And I'm here to prove how wrong you are.
The blight of Alicorn OCs is far-reaching, and apparently it reaches into the comic book series, into Marvel and DC comic books as well. And not just it reaches into the brony fandom. It tries to reach into other fandoms, and other fandoms are smart enough to quarantine it.
No,
I
that was it.
think you're a speciesist, and you're just generalizing that a specific type of OC is just always going to be bad when you haven't given somebody a chance.
Not
with it yet.
not always. I stated the herd census statistics at the beginning of the call. Okay, it's not okay. I found the good ones, and I brought them onto my show.
I could definitely see that you found statistics saying how many people in this fandom have Alicorn OCs. Good. I do not think you took an accurate statistics of how many of those Alicorn OCs are all bad, cringy OCs. I don't think there is a study or statistic for that. And if you'd like, you can definitely try and find it.
Do you know what is a Sonic, Brony? You ever seen a Sonic anything?
Oh my God.
We are not anywhere near the bottom of the barrel with the Alicorn OCs.
I'll have to
Let me
concede that point. What were you going to say, Bliss?
I'm just going to say this. Have I had known at the very beginning, before I made my character into an Alicorn, how much stuff, negative stuff I was going to get, how many negative comments, attacks, bullying, cyberbullying, harassment. I got harassment because I had an Alicorn OC. I would have made myself into a Mustang. I swear. I would have gone Earth Pony, and I would have just embraced my southern roots and gone full-blown buckskin Mustang, I would have done that. But it is what it is now. I can't go back on it. I have a brand, and now I'm here to prove a point. Having an Alicorn OC is hard. It's extremely challenging. And I would never, ever recommend people to just nonchalant become an Alicorn OC because, oh, I have all the talent. I have all the power. I am special than everybody else. No. If you're going to make yourself an Alicorn OC, you are going to go to work. You are going to work really hard to explain yourself why you are the way you are. You're going to get a lot of hate. You're going to get a lot of backlash. But if you're going to do it, accept the work. Accept the criticism.
Yeah, and then strive to improve yourself, which is something that I can respect. The people that actually stick that out. But once again, the majority of Alicorn OCs don't do that. They hang out for a few minutes and then they go, "Oh, this fandom is toxic," and then they leave for Undertale.
Oh wow.
That's just another problem all on its own, Brony.
I want to say that I kind of have, kind of the opposite of Lightning Bliss's experience, because I was already in the fandom when I decided to be an Alicorn OC, and I already knew how hard it would be. I knew I would get harassed. I knew I'd be called out. I knew I would be singled out because I was an Alicorn OC, but I chose to be one anyway because I deserved to be an Alicorn OC. I earned that type, okay? I welcomed it. That's why my character comes off as so facetious half the time, because I'm like, you want to challenge me on being an Alicorn? Go ahead. Challenge me. I want you to say what you think is wrong, and then I prove you wrong just by existing, okay? I knew what I was getting into. I fully signed on for it. I embrace it, and I wouldn't go back for anything. You couldn't pay me to change my OC. It's going to be this, and it's always going to be this.
Well, they have a term for that.
I liked Heather Blossom.
they have a term for what you are in professional wrestling, Heather. They call you the heel. Where it's just, you just take on the negative connotation and you own it. And
that's me on this show.
Yeah, but now you and Heather got to fight each other for it.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. We happen to be on the same team this time.
I'll just sit on Brony's head and watch from afar with a bucket of popcorn. Want some?
Yes, please.
Not one thing anyone has said to me has made me feel insecure, because I was sure of this decision. I know who I am, and I am an Alicorn princess.
Damn,
I think you were one of the first other Alicorns I met, Heather Blossom, and I realized that you were already owning it, and I'm like, okay, we're going to get along.
She was the first one I met. I can confirm that.
Alrighty then. So let me ask you folks this question: since you're so in favor of Alicorn OCs, are you at least able to do some introspection and acknowledge some of the negative aspects of, the stereotypes that that your people have?
What do you mean your people?
What do you mean? What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean.
Loaded racist way of putting that.
Whoa!
Speciest. We don't say racist. We say speciest here.
No, I know that 13% of you commit 60% of the crimes, but I'm sure you're not all bad. Can you get into how you're kind of okay?
So how are you going to improve? How are you going to improve your community despite these negative connotations and stereotypes? Okay.
We do that by doing what we do every day. Lightning Bliss makes amazing content and writes a good character. I present myself as I am, and I talk on behalf of my kind. We present ourselves, and we brush past the hate. We don't freak out. We don't make scenes. We don't try to over-justify who we are. We know who we are. We contribute to this community, Lightning Bliss, on a way more regularly basis than even I do. We prove people wrong every day.
Yeah.
I just exist.
So why do those stereotypes exist? I want you to look inside yourself and say to yourself, what can I improve on and be as an Alicorn?
Those stereotypes I'm sorry, you go first.
They exist. Sorry, go ahead, brother.
Oh no, wait, you. I've been talking
I was
about
gonna say they exist because at the beginning, when everyone first started meeting Celestia Luna, and even when Twilight first became a Alicorn, everyone's like, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that," and then they don't actually put any thought or detail into it. Then you get later on, like everyone stereotypes us based off of what they did at the beginning, but then you have those of us that are out here like, you know what? I'm going to do an Alicorn OC. Hold on. Let me sit here for 3 days straight and write my backstory. And Brony, you know I put detail into this backstory because of how I want to do my animation, of which I suck at.
Well, we're working on that, but go continue with your point.
But, there are those of us that sat there and worked on our OC. We might have used a generic OC creator from Divine Art. We might have been drawn ours as crappy as it was at the start, but we put detail into it. We made them and we stuck by them.
Alrighty then. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add or take away from what Sunshine just said?
Yes, I think Heather Blossom was next in line. We had like a three-way line.
I totally want to agree with what he just said. People base those assumptions based on like the early work of people who didn't fully commit to the OCs or grew from their first template of OC into something else, and they see like that preliminary sketch that they saw all that time ago, and they project that onto us. I think what they're gonna see is that like Sunshine said, it was people who eventually gave up the OC or people who didn't commit to it, but we commit. We get better every day. We just blow all those standards away every time we try to present our OCs. So I'm totally on board with that point.
All right, and how about you, Cordero? Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes, those bad stereotypes of OCs exist as a symptom of bad OCs in general. Because in every fandom, Sonic being the best example, and Undertales, have you seen some bad Undertale?
I chose to stay as far away from Undertale as physically possible.
Same with the Sonic fandom.
Probably for the best. Oh, also Steven Universe and like all the people trying to make their own gym and stuff. See, it's a symptom of this thing though. They're like all of these fandoms have people making OCs, and people always want the most gifted and privileged and powerful OCs that they can get, as we've explained earlier in this thing. So My Little Pony just happens to have a race or a species you can notch that gives you all of that. Imagine if you were making a D&D campaign and one of the races in the book was like, well, it's as smart as an elf, it's as strong as an orc, it's as versatile as a human on the feat tree, and it can fly. You'd be like, oh, I'm picking that race and that class. That's the most broken class. That's what people in general like to do. They like to give themselves a lot of power, and My Little Pony happened to have a power button on the OC options. So more often than not, people push the power up button on their OC because, as we explained before, people have power fantasies. They want to have fun. They want to be special and unique as well. Maybe they don't feel special and unique in their regular life, or they want to feel even more. So they give themselves that Alicorn OC because it makes them feel special. Ironically, it creates a bad stereotype because they don't put, in general, a lot of thought or effort into how they create it. And it becomes run-of-the-mill and mundane because everybody makes a boring, cookie-cutter Alicorn OC. But for that individual person, that's their avatar. That's their personal representation of themselves that they like. So I look at it as each individual person who makes a, quote, terrible Alicorn OC is probably getting really good personal enjoyment out of it. And the net bad you're creating is you're just adding to the cesspool of, oh, lol, it's another crappy OC, which in my opinion isn't really that bad. There's so many bad OCs out there. It's actually fun that they exist and we can make fun of bad OCs. Like the good way outweighs the bad in that scenario. That it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of bad OCs, but that's kind of half the fun. Like jump in and make a bad OC, or do what Heather Blossom and Bliss did, and really put a lot of thought and effort to your backstory, and make yours the exception. Make yours the one that makes it earned. And either way, it's totally fine. This is not a real problem. We should have debated politics or something.
I don't want to be in that debate.
Alrighty then.
I hate debating because I get emotional at some point.
Well, you've been handling yourself relatively well. Wait, yeah, if you wanna say something, go for it.
Yeah.
The stereotype of why there are so many bad Alicorn OCs, just from my perspective. Yeah, I probably am gonna be saying basically what all three have just said. I guess in my own words, if I can English today, yay. Why? Every time somebody comes up to me and they tell me about their Alicorn OC, the first thing I ask them is why. And then they say, "Oh, because I was the child of Celestia." Why?
And if it's not that, it's because of you. It's literally because of you.
Brony asked the same
it's
question.
literally because of me. Okay, why? What made you decide other than the inspiration? I'm happy to inspire people that you can have an Alicorn OC if you put effort and work into it, but I still have to ask that question: why? Is it because you want it, because you want the power boost to make you feel special, to make you feel important, because maybe you don't get that in your life? Because if that's the case, yeah, own it. Admit to that and own it. Don't hide the fact. Don't tell people because, oh, I am special. No, I am powerful in real life and I am financially stable and everything I do is everything I touch becomes gold, etc., in real life. No. Be honest.
And
Be
Sigmund
honest with
Freud
yourself.
rolls in his grave.
Yeah, be honest with yourself. Why do you want to have an Alicorn OC? If it's just because you want the power boost and to make yourself feel important because you're insecure about some things, just own it. I'm not saying everybody's insecure. Some people just want to feel powerful because it's fun. I get that.
Yeah.
But for those who legit want to have a good OC, or Alicorn OC in this case, but they get frustrated about the hate they get because they didn't think about it. They didn't put thought into it. They made the cheap way out. Oh, I was related to Luna, Celestia, or I am the cousin of the main six, etc. That's lazy writing. I'm sorry. Every time somebody's come up to me and told me that they're related to some character in the show, I'm going to facepalm and say, that's lazy writing. That's not original. You are taking the success of another person's writing and leeching off it to make yourself look important. That's not making an effort. That's not
that's
effort
what I
at
said
all.
at the beginning of the stream in the first half of it, and you all wrote me off. So why is it different now that you're saying it?
I don't remember you saying it that way.
Yeah, neither do I.
I didn't. Okay.
If you want to go off of that point,
To be fair, he was calling it creatively bankrupt, which is a similar.
Okay, well, my processing disorder is fun. And if you were saying that, then I apologize because I can't keep up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah,
but it wasn't
then,
just
in
you;
that case,
it was
then, yes,
the
I
other
agree with
three
you.
as well writing me off. So now I'm saying, why is it different that you're saying it? Heather says it's because I presented it wrong, but I don't. Sunshine, what are you trying to say?
Well, going based off of what Lightning Bliss just said with the lazy writing, yes, she inspired me to actually write my OC. Yes, my character is the daughter of Twilight Sparkle, but that's not just it. I actually wrote the backstory, how she became an Alicorn, why she became an Alicorn, why she did what she did, you know?
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
assume
answer.
this is a different universe of MLP then.
Yes, it's a branched universe, but
It's
it
AU,
is
that's fine.
something I wrote.
And that's good. You built off of it. You didn't just like have it be bing bang boom. I was born with everything I have. Your
Yeah.
OC still has character, and it earned the place that it got.
So now this is go ahead, Sunshine. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I made a portal blow up.
Nice.
Give me a break.
Freaking
Right.
A, man. Do it.
Friggin' A.
So here's where we ultimately prove or disprove what I've been saying the whole night. Sunshine, answer Bliss's question. Why?
Why? Well, if you want me to go into why, I'm gonna have to go a little bit into the backstory. Is that all right with you?
I will give you 2 minutes.
Is there a 2-sentence version of why? Can you break it down?
Yes,
into
I can break it down a little bit. My character decided that she wanted to study the magic of the portal to the other realm.
No. I think you misunderstood me when I said why.
Okay, go ahead and explain. Oh, why?
Why
I
did
got
you
it.
personally decide that you wanted to be an Alicorn?
Between the because of the portal, and part of it being that I wanted to do something unique. w- Everyone's doing something with the Equestrials. Everyone's doing something with My Little Pony. I wanted to do something with both. Make the multiverse an actual thing because very little to no people that I have ever met have done it. And with that being said,
Okay.
I've no when Celestia literally made it clear that Twilight made a new magic. She just not just discovered the magic of friendship, but she made it into her own magic, which is why she became an Alicorn.
Yeah,
So
that,
why
that was
can't?
one of the two requirements. That was part of the requirements of ascending to Alicorn. Is
Yeah,
you have to master the magic of friendship, and you have to create new magic. Those were the two requirements.
exactly. That's why I decided to write the backstory the way I did and study the magic of the portal.
Oh, okay, so
Alrighty.
is your character from another side of the portal, or is that the new magic? Your character
My
discovered new
character
magic.
created didn't just create the magic of the portal, but she discovered what the magic was truly capable of.
Yeah, you expanded on the magic of the portal. Got
Right.
it.
Which resulted in a
In ascension.
catastrophe.
Oh yeah, and catalyst for your whole story. Yeah, there you go. That sounds fun.
Alrighty then. So, last chance here. Does anybody have anything they want to say before we get into the audience participation segment?
I still feel like my question was still not fully understood because okay, ask me the question, why did I choose to be an Alicorn?
Why did
Why
you
did
choose
you
to be an
choose to be an
Alicorn?
Alicorn?
Personal reasons to represent that I got married and I graduated college originally, but then after doing more research, I discovered, oh, people are having a hard time having an Alicorn OC in our community. I want to prove to everybody that through good work, originality, creativity, and standing up for yourself, you can have a good Alicorn OC.
Okay,
I
so
wanted to
so I,
represent
so I
that.
guess so. The
Going-
question could be better said. What is your IRL reason for
Yeah.
making an Alicorn?
What
I
is
think
the
that-
reason
yeah.
for my Alicorn? It's
You're like real
because
life.
all of my characters that I have ever created can be described in these simple words. You're a god, you're a god, you're a god, you're a goddess, you're a god, you're a god. I wanted to create something that I felt proud of, that I could actually say that I wrote a story on, that I have backstory into.
So you wrote a god.
For all of my other characters.
No,
Yes.
no. For this one too, it's like, oh,
No.
I wrote all these god characters, so then I wanted to write something different, but it was just writing another god character, but with extra steps.
No.
because
no,
this character
like,
isn't a god. The definition of a god is unlimited power. This character has its limits. It can't do everything.
Your views on what a god is your own, though. Everybody has different views on what a god is.
Right,
You
But
gotta
this
be
is
careful
why
with
this
that.
is why there should have never been more than two Alicorns.
What was that?
That was Aeon of Dreams.
Yes.
Nice.
I think I stated earlier, though, that we shouldn't be treating alicorns as gods. They are not gods. We've clearly seen them fall. We've seen them do things that I think most people would think a god wouldn't do, like become evil. I don't know about you, but I don't think gods get married. They don't.
That
rule
depends
the
on the
You've never-
pantheon.
Yeah, you've never
If-
looked
if
at
we
Greek
jump-
mythology, have you?
I was about to go there. If we jump into mythos like Norse and Greek mythology, alicorns are probably in the neighborhood of demigods.
Yeah.
The My Little Pony lore does not show a being more powerful than Alicorn, or like that area of power. But if you were to compare it to like Greek mythology, that's about where the alicorns live. It's somewhere in the demigod neighborhood of power scaling. There just hasn't been a greater power scaling, which is why my character is actually secretly not just an alicorn who lost all of his powers, but I'm also an omnicorn, the ascended original version, the fathers of the original alicorns. And when villains attack everything and things get really bad, I can tap into my omnicorn powers.
Cordero, I swear to God, I will suplex you.
Yeah, please do.
So here's where the show screwed up Alicorns in the canon here, because they started with the god, with the demigod, with the raising of the sun and the moon and incredible cosmic power, and then they just nerfed them at every opportunity possible and then kept adding more for no reason. And it was weak writing when the show did it, so I'm sure as heck not going to give fanfic writers a pass on it.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think you're wrong too.
The show did mess with its own lore.
Yeah.
The show did mess with its own lore because for many, many seasons, after Twilight Sparkle ascended to Alicorn, the show seemed to imply, if not nearly directly state, that there is a difference between naturally born Alicorns and ascended Alicorns. Ascended Alicorns being like Cadence and Twilight, and naturally born Alicorns being like Celestia and Luna.
You have to remember Celestia
and that was the lore
Luna.
that was the implied lore for so long, and then Flurrybutt. Then Flurrybutt was born, and it just was thrown out the window with a throwaway line from the sisters saying, "Oh, it's the first time an Alicorn has ever been born." And so,
in Equestria, you have to remember they said in Equestria.
Well, you also need y'all.
So were they not born in Equestria? But that was the day that every fan fiction writer like lit their stories on fire, because that just nuked so much lore.
What were you trying to say, Bliss?
Everybody needs to remember this though, and I know it's hard not to do this because even I'm guilty of doing this, but everybody needs to remember that this show had multiple writers. It's going to be consistent with each other.
You know what else had multiple writers? Gravity Falls. You know what else had
I'm
multiple
aware.
writers? The MCU. Yes. It's not about multiple writers. It's about effort and keeping track of your own lore.
Gravity Falls was also the vision of Alex Hurd.
Yes,
it's
Heather,
Hasbro,
go.
Bronny, what did you expect?
They're
a toy company first.
Heather, go ahead. Yeah.
I believe their line had been like the birth of an Alicorn had been something that they even witnessed. I don't think you can exactly witness your own birth, so I don't think that discredits them being born as Alicorns. And we also have to remember extra material with our little show here. They had a book released, a children's book released called The Journal of the Two Sisters, where they did explicitly state that there are other Alicorns. And that Celestia and Luna were asked to come and rule over Equestria.
Heather, with that being said, you're saying that with them saying that they have never witnessed it, you have to remember Celestia is older than Luna. So was she not there when her sister was born?
How much older? Like, was Celestia 1? Was she 2? She can't. And what if she wasn't there?
Was she 100? Was she 200?
Yeah,
you can say that too. And if she was 100 or 200, was she there when Luna was born?
That's what I was gonna get into that point. Yeah, the possibility of her being too young or not even being there entirely is there, but you also have to think she might have been.
She might have been, but she's implying that she was not.
Okay, Emerald Spencer is correcting us in the chat. He says, to quote Celestia, "The birth of an Alicorn is something Equestria has never seen. It is beyond even our understanding."
Yeah, that second part of the line, that's what killed it for the fanfic, right? Because if the princesses don't understand it, you would think they would understand their own birth and origin. That's where
you could also twist that is they don't know how an Alicorn was born with just an Alicorn mother and a unicorn father.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm on your side because I want it to be that way. Like I don't want the new lore of Celestia and Luna to have no idea how Alicorns work.
Chugzone says, or maybe we're overthinking this.
You know, this is kind of this is going into like what we're griping with lore. How about we get to that audience segment?
Yeah, I was about to say. Okay, so Bliss, this is your first time on the show, so I'll let you know what we do. I've been watching this the chat the whole time, and if I've seen an interesting comment or if I saw a question for any of us, I've copied it over. I forgot to tell you before the stream, but I encourage everybody else on the panel to do the same. And we're going to read what I picked out here. And if you see anything that you'd like to address, you're welcome to do so as well. Starting with Jacob Kennedy Frost. By the way, because we're talking about cringy OCs, we've invited everybody to tell us about their cringy OC. Jacob Kennedy Frost says, I have an old Alicorn OC that I used for years, primarily for roleplay. I haven't used him since I made new ones, a unicorn and an earth pony. I don't see myself ever using a Pegasus in the future. So another case of this guy matured and got rid of the Alicorn OC.
Or maybe he just got tired of the types of stories that come with having an Alicorn OC, like an elderly Alicorn, like you're usually in a...
What? Your mic cut out.
Yeah, your mic cut out. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we lost Heather.
Is she there? We lost Heather. No! Panic!
Oh, she's back. She's back.
Hello?
But her mic is still muted.
Her mic is blasting, but we can't hear anything.
Her heresy was too great. Yeah. The internet got censored her.
No.
There we go.
So that means Heather, are you there yet? Nope, Heather's still having Discord issues. So we're going to move on to now Paladin Pony T's.
Actually,
oh, no, wait. I think...
hello.
Okay, so yeah, now we can hear you again. Just in time. Finish what you were saying.
I was going to say, an elderly Alicorn OC lends itself to particular kinds of stories. He could be a king. He could be on an epic quest. You can't exactly do smaller RPs with that kind of character. He probably just wanted, like, simpler slice of life or something that, like, I will concede that having an Alicorn OC limits him to be having to find something that's big enough for that type of OC to be challenged. He probably wanted to, like, have challenges that were easier to come up with that his characters might have trouble facing obstacles for. It's just that he was interested in pursuing a different kind of adventure. It doesn't pretend that OC was bad. It was just built for a different kind of role.
Yes. Let's see here. Oh, and apparently I just got corrected. I forgot the other time that Bliss has been on here when we on the show. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got too much going on. Now, Paladin Pony T says, question for Heather. Is your OC part Bat Pony?
No. Probably
it's the
not.
fuzzy ears.
Yeah, just fuzzy ears.
I just have fluffy ears and I have very sharp teeth.
And laser eyes.
Hey, that's not a Bat Pony thing.
Not last time I checked, no.
It's not a Bat Pony thing. That's a me thing.
Yeah, that's a her thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a talent.
I should replace my cutie mark with a laser.
So, does anybody else have anything they want to say about this guy and his abandoning his Alicorn OCs?
I wouldn't call it abandoning it. More like he probably did all he could with the characters and wanted to move on to something else. So that's not being mature. That's just making a choice.
Ditto. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay. Pika Demos said, so basically being an Alicorn at that time was like being the default skin of Steve from Minecraft, the level 1 player. So yes, that's another thing that we were talking about here was the lazy writing. You started with the default and didn't do much else with it. What do you guys think?
No, that was a bad leap. It didn't become lazy. It became commonplace. Like being the default skin. The comparison there is like becoming an Alicorn OC became in abundance. It didn't make it lazy. It just made it very, very popular.
Yeah.
Which are not a 1-to-1 thing.
Alrighty then. Jacob Kennedy Frost here follows up. He says, exactly. I kind of got bored with being uber powerful and having everything I wanted without ever having earned it. My Unicorn OC is more personal and relates to me as a person and what I like.
So he basically just admitted his character was written in a way that was super powerful, that he literally got everything he wanted. Got it. Well, that's not the writing that I do for my character.
That
my
plays
character
right
That's
into
a
my
Mary
point.
Sue. That's a definition of a Mary Sue right there.
That literally is the definition of a Mary Sue. That you
Straight
that
from the horse's mouth.
And
Yeah.
I want to say, is it such a bad thing that it was popular? I feel like it's a jumping off point for a lot of people. Like, this guy is an example of it especially. He started with an Alicorn OC, experimented with a few things, but then found another way to make a character
that more related to him.
And it started with the Alicorn OC.
I'm literally going to take a quote here from, or a really good version of how Matt Muchkin said it. being a Mary Sue is basically playing Gary's mod, creative mode. That's what a Mary Sue is. There is no challenge. You can do literally whatever you want without consequence, without obstacle, without judgment, because you are perfect in every way, whether that be good or bad. There's no challenge. So, of course, you are going to get bored and not like it after a while because it's not fun. It's not challenging and it's not relatable. And yeah, sometimes people have to learn that the hard way. And now, I'm not saying having an Alicorn OC means you have to be exactly that, a perfect and Mary Sue in every single way. No, you don't have to do that. If you want to challenge yourself, give your character a challenge.
Alrighty then. Ashton Blackheart says, "Hi everybody. Also, this is why my OC is a hybrid of Sombra and Chrysalis."
Oh dear God.
Character-wise, design-wise, are you actually their child? I need details here.
Yeah. Not helping your case there, but go ahead. I'm listening.
That's yep, that's the type of thing we deal with when we delve into the land of Alicorn OCs. Stephen equals one heart says, "Let's
Wait, hang on. Go back just a second. We all just jumped to. We just fell for Bronny's trap. We all just jumped to a conclusion that Brony wanted us to jump to, and that's you took something very common that somebody took a Sombra Chrysalis pairing and made it their kid. Oh, grown, another stupid, boring Alicorn OC, and we all assumed that it was going to be bad. If they wrote it well in a way where it was earned, or you make a good story from the child of that very, very common and overused pairing. What I'm saying is we all assumed it was bad. How did we know it was bad? Maybe
goodness, it's almost like it that I was right all along, and it proves my point."
We're not
we're right about stereotypes existing.
Yeah, Heather, what's up?
I was going to say, I did not groan. You know what the first thing I did was? Ask questions. I wanted
do the
to know
right thing.
more before I judged. So I'm above everybody. I win.
She does win in that category. I immediately groaned because I'm so used to seeing that.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to fans coming to me saying, look, this is my character. It's a hybrid of this, and this is what they could do, and it's always perfect. It's because I, unfortunately, have fallen into that unfortunate group where people take inspiration from me that, oh, yeah, you can have an Alicorn C, but they still don't put work into it.
It's like
that's
people
why I
bring,
tend to groan.
People
it's out
bring
of habit.
Bliss their
Lightning
OCs.
Bliss made a whole video on that.
People bring Bliss their OCs, and Bliss goes, "Let me guess, we're about to go over a huge waterfall." Yep, sharp rocks at the bottom, most likely.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
There's the reason why I don't judge OCs anymore. You remember that horrible series I used to have on my channel, and I still regret to this day, where I will judge your OC. That was the title. What was I thinking? Horrible idea. It wasn't like your OC sucks. I legitimately would look at somebody's OC if they were donating to my Patreon, and they would legitimately ask for me, no sugarcoating, what did I think of their character and their backstory? And I would not sugarcoat. And I have seen some stinkers. I have literally seen a hybrid wolf pony demon where he witnessed his entire family get murdered by demons, and the only way to take revenge was to become a demon and gain all these evil powers, and he would smite all his evil bullies. And it was just
What's up, Sunshine?
That's overdone in any fandom.
Yeah.
That's not.
You are the
Your
demon.
story's lazy. Your OC's a wolf.
Why am I thinking of that one vampire in?
Well, but see, now I'm going to admit something. I am not perfect. I learned something from Heather Blossom. I should not groan immediately just because I heard somebody said their OC is a hybrid of Sombra and Chrysalis. Does that necessarily mean they are the kid of those two? No. Does it mean that it might look like them a little bit? Maybe. I don't know. She's right. I don't have enough context, but I groan anyway. That wasn't fair of me. See, I learned something.
I didn't groan. I just said, "Oh dear God," which isn't really implying anything. It just implies.
I think it's pretty heavily implying a groan there.
I was admitting that I groaned. I was admitting I made a mistake.
You guys could take from what I did as implication that's like, oh, here we go again. But for me, whenever I say, "Oh dear God," it's not a "Oh, here we go again." It's a, Oh, this should be interesting.
God, the implications.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Paladin Pony T says Princess Heather gets a cookie.
Yes. Also, I was just thinking, like, a combination of Sombra and, like, what if it was a fusion between Sombra and Chrysalis, like, you know, like Dragon Ball Z? Or,
Fusion?
That'd be Asian.
That'd be the sexiest character alive.
That's hilarious. It could be an offspring of Chrysalis and Sombra, but what that is a cliche. But what you've done is you've given yourself a lot of work. You need a good story where Sombra and Chrysalis get together and have a kid, and then you need a good story for that kid to make that character interesting. So it can be done. You've just created a lot of work for yourself to make it interesting and earned.
Yeah.
Okay.
No happy marriages.
7 equals 1 heart says, let's hang Brawny by what's left of his hair.
Wow. No.
Wow.
That's the comment.
No.
There's going low, and then there's just dropping.
I
There's going
respect
low, and then
Brawny.
there's going drop.
I respect Brawny so much. He owns his opinion. I respect him for that. He's a kind sir. He busted my arm or hands in prance, and he felt horrible for that, but I still played on because I'm an idiot.
I don't know if I ever told you, Bliss, but I figured out what I did wrong that night, and I'm not going to do it again, so rematch.
Oh, rematch. Okay.
And hopefully I won't win by default with some bull crap the next time.
You won by default because we had a call sudden death. I still get salty as heck because I always lose at sudden death.
I get salty for you. Like, it shouldn't have. Anyway, Lantern's Glow says, I have one character who has unstable lightning magic, and another thing is an Eldritch Beast who happens to shroud as a pony. Emerald Spencer, is that you? Because we got a guy in my Discord server named Emerald Spencer. I listed his name earlier, and he's got a very similar thing going on.
That is Emerald. That is I think that is the same Emerald.
I know. Well, I think if it was the same Emerald, then the screen name would have read Emerald Spencer and not Lantern's Glow.
Okay, never
Yeah, so
mind.
what
No,
we think
'cause
about-
I thought it was Emerald Spencer talking in the thing, but I
so
didn't
now
hear
that
what he
we've
said.
now that we've learned our lesson from Heather's example, what do we think about this OC?
The lightning thing, I feel like I've
The
heard,
implications.
but it could be interesting. I'm interested
Yeah.
more in the lightning pony, or if it's a pony. I'm sorry, I didn't ask about the pony.
How
does the lightning pony interest me?
How does the unstable lightning work? Because I'm thinking of Fizzy Pop Berry Twist.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was thinking.
And her broken horn and stuff. Like, is it that kind of unstable, or is it just like, is it like super powerful but doesn't know how to control it? Like, there's a lot of places you can go with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of places you can go with that.
No,
That's another way to
here's
balance
what he
being
did.
overpowered.
He's got unstable lightning magic, and he's got Eldritch Beast, and the whole story is that there isn't even a story. It's just they're quirky roommates in a sitcom. And
I don't get the Eldritch Beast part. What about the Eldritch Beast? What is that? Is that a friend? Is that his companion? A pet? What is that?
Well, I don't know. I read the whole comment.
Okay, I don't have enough context to go on, so.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't joking. That's actually they're roommates. They're an odd couple roommate show.
No, I was
That'd be
joking.
funny.
I was joking, but
That would be
okay,
funny, though.
It's the all or nothing.
Watch that.
I think I would read
The
it.
all or nothing Tumblr comic that Tumblr wanted to make.
yeah, something like that. I mean, shoot, it only it doesn't matter how long. Eventually, humanity will write Homestuck again. Helping Hand says, my OC can also have a chance to turn evil as an Alicorn, but his silly weakness is being booped. One boop dispels all of his powers and reverts him back to an Earth pony, and
Sun's getting low.
I regret doing this stream!
I like the concept.
I love it.
I think
Sun's
this is
going
adorable.
down.
This sounds
Yeah.
adorable.
Going down.
Bliss, didn't you literally just come out with a video that was roughly this concept?
Yes. Well, TF2, the Blissy is booped. It was an April Fool's special, but okay, this doesn't sound like somebody taking their character super seriously. This is somebody taking a character and writing for fun and for the adorable factor. Own it. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. I like this OC simply because of the booping, because I will do that to my niece all the time. I'll just walk by her and boop her on the nose, and she'll just like lose all focus of what's going on around her.
It's like, here's a good example. Okay, y'all know Katie Patterson, aka Midnight Sonata. Y'all know that she's actually a heartbeat demon trapped inside a dead pony body. But
don't boop her nose.
Don't boop her nose. Oh my god. But no, here's the thing. When Midnight Sonata gets horribly, terrifyingly angry, like the fangs come out, the eyes go red and everything, the one thing that calms her down immediately upon touch is when Thespio rubs her neck.
Alrighty then.
I have several questions. Like, so you said she was a heartbeat inside of a dead pony body. Does
a heartbeat demon trapped inside a dead body. Yeah.
Does she smell? Is it gross? Does she rot?
Have you not seen the special?
Yeah,
it's on my
Lightning
channel.
Bliss. How bad was that?
What does death smell like to you?
Probably your reaction from when I watched that video.
Have you ever smelled a rotting corpse? I would not recommend it.
No, I do not. I have not, and I don't think I ever want to.
I have.
No, but yeah, Heather Blossom. There's a special on my channel called Friendship Reanimated. You can watch that, and yeah, you'll get the full context.
Oh yeah, that was a Halloween one. That one's still on my watch later list. I need to stop working at 4 jobs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At least you're not having bolts fly past your head.
Not usually, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. Lantern's Glow just followed up and said she is, so I'm guessing similar to Fizzle Pop Berry Twist. Usually her magic is unpredictable, so it just kind of happens. Think kid level in a teen body. And thanks... Oh god, I'm actively making the world a worse place. Thanks, you gave me ideas for a sitcom fix where Kieran, the Det end up as roommates with laugh tracks. Oh my god. Okay, so...
As long as you have fun with it.
Congratulations, you
have
created
fun
an
with
Alicorn
it.
OC, Brony.
That's
How do
all
you
I
feel?
gotta say is have fun with the character. Yeah, you want to create a character that you can know very well, but have fun with them too.
I must commit Sudoku. Paladin Pony T says, question for Bliss and Heather. What is your OC's backstory? I don't think you told us how you became Alicorn. So, Bliss, 30 seconds.
So I don't like my backstory currently because I wrote it in a way to include my husband, but my husband refused to have a pony OC, so he is a Dragon Ball Z character. Yeah, I had to cross streams here.
Full circle.
I had to cross streams.
Magical Gokus.
No, more like a magical Frieza.
Yeah, I had to cross streams with that one just to get him into my backstory, but then he agreed that I could upgrade his OC to a pony OC just to balance my channel out. So now that has given me a chance to rewrite my backstory, and it is going to be relatively the same, just taking out the Frost Demon aspect and the whole universal
Now,
crossover.
when we did Stranger Than Fan Fiction together, you said I fell into the Alicorn dimension, and I still am not 100% sure what you mean on that, because I know you did that in a video one time, but I'm sorry, I apologize, I've forgotten exactly what happened in that video, and I said that is the cringiest thing I've ever heard, and I've read Fallout Equestria.
Yes. Oh, I like Fallout Equestria, but yes, that is accurate. What happened is that universes broke. The Dragon Ball Z universe basically opened up into the Pony universe, where my husband's OC was doing battle as a Time Lord from the game, battling villains that were basically breaking up time in his dimension. They got into our dimension, the Pony universe, and Bliss helped to battle these characters to get them out of her dimension. She got caught between a energy blast and a portal energy beam where they came from, and then that somehow sent her into the Alicorn dimension. Again, I'm not pleased with that part of the backstory because it's just way out of left field. And I do hope to rewrite it where I still have the scenario that, yes, Bliss was thrown quite literally into the Alicorn dimension, and I will go into more details about that when eventually I rewrite the backstory, if I ever have time. But
well.
yes, but this is why randomly suddenly being thrown into the Alicorn dimension without rhyme or reason or explanation, and then being spat out with all these super cosmic powers and not having a clue how to control them, it's terrifying. It's also pressure building.
All right, Heather, your backstory. 30 seconds.
I just decided to have fun with my backstory. My OC, her canonical backstory, she was an Earth pony, and she became an Alicorn on accident. She had gotten a book from Golden Oaks Library when she was passing through Ponyville one time, and she decided to bring it back. But, the library was kind of blown the hell up when she got there, so she decided to go find the person who owned the book, who was the last librarian, and that was Twilight Sparkle. She goes into Twilight Sparkle's castle and was just like, guess I need a new book, though, because no one was around. So she picked up Star Wars Journal and started reading it. And then, bing, bam, boom, she's an Alicorn. Hooray!
I like that.
Everything was awesome forever, and everyone thought I was so cool. I was made a princess immediately.
That's the third cringiest thing I've ever heard, and I've listened to Lightning Bliss's backstory.
Brony, you've listened to my backstory.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it's the fourth cringiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, moving on up, sort of.
You mean down?
I think my thing is that, I wasn't trying to build a super awesome story. I was trying to make something funny.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fair.
You know what would make a really good story?
Yeah.
Is a failed Alicorn ascension. Somebody who could.
So me, basically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
I was imagining, body horror. Sorry.
Not that, but I abandoned it a long time ago. But I once upon a time I was writing Starswirl the Bearded story, who basically is a failed Alicorn story. Like, he mastered magic, but never mastered friendship, and so because he didn't ascend, he started the spell but never completed the spell that Twilight completed. So I remember at one point wanting to write Starswirl's story and how he didn't become an Alicorn, but became the most powerful, most influential unicorn of all time.
He did train the Alicorns.
Yeah.
Well, at least two of them.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's see here. Blue Psycho Pony and not Cordero says, I tried to make my Alicorn OC into a pseudo father figure. What do we think about that?
Yeah.
I like that idea. Who they being a father to?
That's certainly the question, but Blue Psycho Pony did not elaborate further. Hopefully he's still in the chat and can follow up with us. FoxFan321 says, I haven't made Alicorn OCs, but I do know that making OCs takes time. For me, I have OCs, but I have to make sure they're not similar to someone else's because I accidentally do that with some details. Okay, so here's a question. I'm going to follow up this with a question. Can you is it plagiarism if it's by accident? Like, if you had no idea, if I had no idea, if I'd never seen a Simpsons episode before and I accidentally wrote Homer Simpson, is it still?
Yes and no. It depends on the realm of how close you got with, like, if you directly wrote Homer Simpson, even if it was on accident, yes, it is still plagiarism. However, if you were to realize the mistake and rewrite it so it was more Brawny Buck than Homer Simpson, then no.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you react when you realize someone beat you to it. Like, if it was an honest mistake, then you'll probably make an effort to correct it and be like, oops, someone did this before me. And if you're plagiarizing, you'd probably ignore it and try to get away with it.
Especially if they have an actual copyright form stating this. They, like Fox or Disney Fox owns The Simpsons now. They legit have copyrights to it. So you claiming that I own The Simpsons, I made this first. Where's your copyright proof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heather, what were you going to say?
That really boils down to that.
I wanted to say that absolutely it is not. If you had never seen an episode of The Simpsons and you somehow wrote Homer Simpson on accident, it is not plagiarism because you never saw Homer Simpson before. You didn't know that a Homer Simpson exists. If it looks like a carbon copy and stuff, like, I get they could probably try and get you for legal things because I don't think there's a way in court you can prove that you've never seen The Simpsons, especially with how iconic they are.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't view it as such if it was completely unintentional.
Yeah.
You're going full on intention. Like if in your heart you absolutely did not plagiarize it, you're saying that matters.
Because usually when I hear plagiarism, that means intent.
Intent, yeah.
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 Alrighty then.
Infringement is regardless of intent. Infringement.
Like, I remember once I got this was already sorted, by the way, so no ghost hunting here. That I got accused of plagiarizing a character for an OC that I was making to represent my mom. It just so happened that another OC had next to exactly the same exact color scheme as my mother's OC. The only difference is that the hairstyles were different and their kitty marks were completely and totally different. Not to mention the age gaps were immensely different. But yeah, the person basically confronted me in a very hostile way, demanding that I change my mother's OC. And I said no, because I'm not copying and I'm not plagiarizing. You do you. They got huffy about it and kind of went on a bit of a DeviantArt hunt.
I remember this.
Yeah,
Oh,
they got a little heated. Things got a little heated. Followers were bashing followers over this, and we kind of just concluded that, this is silly. There's no such thing as plagiarizing in this show style anyway, because let's be real here, Hasbro owns the MLP show style.
They just don't go after us because they like us liking the show.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if you feel that way, but I'm not changing the design of my mother because these are the color schemes that fit her. This is what she chose, and this was me fulfilling that choice that she chose for me to make her character. I've since updated her character since then, so now there's even more difference. But yeah, it happens.
I should have sued half of the analysts for plagiarism. I should have sued ANY, Kiki,
I was gonna say
Heather. I should just anybody. I mean, we've run the dates. We've run the dates. In terms of the fandom, I predate all of these other imitation brown ponies. Okay.
Excuse me, we're not even the same shade of brown. Don't you freaking book me in with you.
Your hair is the same shade as my coat. Okay, I'm pretty sure you stole my wings.
I did purple because purple.
My hat and eyes are pretty close. You gonna come at me for that?
Did you know I was totally ripping off Rainbow Dash? We're totally related to each other, by the way.
No, Cordero, I'm not gonna come after you because your hat is really stupid, so it gives you enough separation from me.
I'm gonna come after you for that. My hat is freaking amazing.
Would it kill you to try and wear a hat, Brony?
You look like.
Sorry, but you're all wrong.
You look like.
Sorry.
Spar again soon.
Goggles are the best.
You look like an old.
Steampunk goggles for the win.
You look like a geriatric who
I
used
knew
to.
exactly what you were gonna say.
Yeah, you look like a geriatric who used to deliver newspapers and never quite got over that because it was the prime of his life.
I am not an aging newsie. I am an Irishman with an elegant whiskey palate.
Why are you implying that there's a difference?
The fact that I guessed
I
exactly what Lightning Bliss was gonna say, just like.
Okay, so, Mugen Uchiha says, my latest OC is an absolute level telepathic and telekinetic earth pony of mixed blood, and I am rocking it. Heather, I need you to stop influencing these people negatively.
No, do what you want to do. Commit crimes. Yay!
Be the best you can be. Have fun with your OC.
Fuck the
420.
Not that far.
Fuck the Royal Guard.
If it's
I've
legally
heard of crazier ideas for earth ponies. I assure you, that's good. That you're fine.
Yeah.
Like the one that fell in a cement mixer and lost his horn. And
No, an earth pony who has the powers of an Alicorn. Legit.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm an earth pony, but I have Alicorn powers, so
I'm
yeah. I've heard this before.
And I'm a secret Omnicorn that's revealed later
Yeah, exactly.
when I defeat the villain for everyone, and I'm more powerful than all the other Alicorns combined.
Yeah. Sad Lobster says, to be honest, I never understood the Alicorn hate. They're often well designed. They do have cool powers. They have connections in real world mythology, and you never know what to expect from them. Sad Lobster, Bliss is already married, so you're not going to win any extra brownie points here.
I'm not.
Oh, guys.
What's up?
That's so funny.
Okay, so what do we think about that? We're
I didn't
getting
even
some
hear
love.
what you said.
We're
like,
getting
my
some
brain
love
went
from
blank.
Sad Lobster here.
What do I think of it? Well, I'm engaged too, but you might be able to talk me out of it. What do you got?
Listen,
How you doing?
listen, Sad Lobster. The Alicorns aren't going to date you. You don't need to kiss up this hard.
I mean,
Brony would know,
John is
right?
not wrong.
Sipping for that corn horn.
I mean,
Please don't word it like that. Holy frick!
No, I'm gonna use that line. That line fine.
I mean, it's like good on you for not running into the really bad design OCs. See, I'm an artist. I tend to see what they look like first before the backstory. Hey, for all I know, they look horrible, but the backstory is an A+. I wouldn't know though, because a lot of the time when somebody asks me to look at their OC, first off, I tell them that are you a Patreon donator, because I don't have time to give you my feedback on that, and because people get really haughty with me or annoyed with me when I give them my honest opinion. But I have ran to a lot of Alicorn OCs that I run into are either horribly saturated, even, and I'm guilty of this, I will admit it, where it's like flaming fuchsia pink or bright saturated red or all black with red stripes. It's
Black
horrible.
and red OCs are an entire different story.
Yeah, I don't want to touch that one, but
The zebras with fairy wings and deer antlers.
Yeah, exactly.
or how about this? The Rainbow Bright reboot threw up all over this OC once, and it was eye gouging. The cotton candy with gradient rainbow legs and gradient rainbow Celestia hair with oh god, a bat green neon eyes and over the top large.
You're doing a
gradient
really good
rainbow
job of
boots.
proving all of my points here, Bliss.
No,
like
that
it just you know what she's proving is that I break so many barriers. Freaking look at me. I am earthy and gold, baby.
you don't need to look. You don't need to look like eyesore engaging to get attention. You can have pastel soft colors. Look at Heather Blossom's beautiful. I'm just pointing that out right now. She's beautiful. She's not hurting my eyes. She's got a cute style, fluffy ears, slightly gradient wings. I love her style. It's cute. Look at Brony. Look at Brony. Look at all these guys. Do you see neon flaming saturated colors here? Please tell me you don't.
A lot of
Thank
people
you.
don't understand complementary colors. All the OCs on this board do a good job, but like, yeah, complementary colors are a thing, and clashing colors are also a thing, and people who make OCs tend to not understand that.
Yeah. They're sometimes, guys, less is more. You don't need gradients. You don't need. I mean, I'm a hypocrite. I love rainbows. I had to have rainbows in my OC. There's just no way, if, ands, or ways out of that. So if you're gonna have rainbows in it,
But then you comboed
know,
the rainbows with black and beige or white. So like you muted the mane and fur colors so that the rainbow could stick out, so it works.
Well, the thing about Bliss is that she clips her whites. So you're too bright there. You got that weird last unicorn thing going on with your tail, and between your height and the size of your ears, I could have mistaken you for a Chernobyl rabbit.
Well, that's a first. That's a first description if I ever heard one.
That's dropping pretty low.
I think her design is good for her, though. Like, it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want rainbows. I like her tail, though. I like that tail. I like using it, because I think I remember one of your videos. You were just like, it's a lion's tail, but a lot of people mistake it for me having like a paintbrush tail. And I like that you incorporated that with some of your stuff. I thought that was super cool. So there's things about your design I really like, though I wouldn't like do it myself.
It's not for everybody. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody either.
Rusty
Yeah.
Helm says, it quotes Bliss and says, "Look at Brawny." Pause. Says nothing.
Yes, look at Brony. He
you
has
could
a
have
good
just
design.
stopped there, and it would have been
No.
perfect.
No,
Look at Brony.
I
Now
was
look at your man.
legit
Now
trying
back
to
to Brony. Now
compliment
back to
here.
So-
I know, but like, it would have been perfect.
Thankfully, Brawny is not your man.
The Brawny is now diamonds.
Hush.
Look down,
Wait,
back
no,
up. Brawny is now well designed. Let's see here. Rusty Helm says, "I also think people are used to having power fantasies from playing video games with overpowered main characters and pre-made backstories. Yes, which also proves my point. Those video games will rot your brain, son."
I am tired of your slander. We're gonna have a freaking other debate about video games if you haven't already. I'm gonna talk about how awesome they are as an art form and that you need to respect that.
Listen-
Ronnie, what is
Like
your
mobile
other
games.
bi-weekly event?
Friday Night Fights, where I sell out. where I try to get games, or where I try to get viewership from gaming because that's popular and for like no other reason.
That's my entire
night.
Twitch base.
Yeah.
You didn't play enough
Nice
Among Us
Brony.
to get views.
It's
We
the
need
night
to
that
do an
Bryan puts on
Among
his
Us next
fishnets
week with the
and
new map.
stilettos, and he hoes himself for the crowd.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's literally what it is. I'm gonna fully admit that is me selling out. I don't like video games, but I know most of my audience likes video games, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more people that want to play video games with me and make me suffer by giving me $1 a month. Anyway,
Are you saying Friday Night Fights is your Alicorn OC?
yes. I'm gonna take Heather's advice and just cop to it, because if I try to deny it, it's only gonna bite me in the flank.
It's beautiful. I'm making him grow as a person, and he hates it.
Your character arc is complete.
Yes.
Okay, so, let's see here. Firepaw says, "Flurry Heart is cancer to me and she hurts my soul." And,
I don't know.
Firepaw also says, "We don't know how old the Royal Sisters actually are." Yes, we do, because in the ninth season, Pinky celebrated Celestia's 1,100th some odd birthday, or I think it was either 1,100 or it was like 1,111 or something silly like that.
That's funny.
I thought that was how many times she raised the sun, not her birthday.
Yeah.
I think I need to double check then.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
God, I barely remember that thing.
It
I
was-
know Aeon has it. I haven't yet to read it, though. I just need to sit down and read it.
That was the one where she was kind of, I think that was the one where she was kind of out of character because Twilight brought her into the play and she couldn't act, which as a premise I don't believe. And then she took it all personal when she found out that she couldn't act. Like, Twilight, why didn't you just tell me I couldn't act? And yeah, I didn't like that.
I like the meme that somebody made with it, where like it was that moment Celestia goes like, "Don't worry, I'll tell you. Like, I'll do my thing and do what I usually do when I have to deal with a difficult situation. I know how to handle this." And then she just disappears and leaves them to deal with it.
Don't worry, guys, I
And
have
I'm
a
like,
plan.
yeah.
Celestia has left the game.
Celestia has left the chat.
Let's see. Carduin. I wonder if that's the same Carduin that works with Dusty Cat. Probably not. What if you had an Alicorn OC that was created because of a science experiment? Would that be cheesy and bad? We already did that and called
How
it
you write
Fallout.
it.
Yes, it does depend on how you write it, but we already did that and called it Fallout Equestria.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool, like a Frankenstein body horror freaking story. You know me, I love horror. I mean, that's why I ask if things are gross. I'm like, ew, is it gross? I want to read it. I want to see it. Let me look at it.
I'm more of the poltergeist horror myself, but I'd better watch that with you, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
not
go
against
for
the
it.
idea though, that story-wise. I mean, if you got a good story and you got a good characters to work with, then I'd say go for it. No harm in trying.
All right. Let's see here. Kenzie Hope Ann says, are Draconiquus OCs as bad as Alicorn OCs?
I
I got
haven't
it.
seen any. I haven't seen
I actually did make
There
a
must
Draconicus OC to represent my husband once, but it never went public. I kid you not.
We do. There are a couple Draconiquus fandom OCs. They're usually the spawn of Twilight and Discord.
Yeah, see, I tried
yeah.
making one.
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
I forgot. My favorite artist, Lop Oddity, she has an OC that's the daughter of Discord and Twilight.
I love that design.
Pandora. I love Pandora. I love her.
Yeah, I love her too. She's cute.
I love that chick. She does great stuff.
That
Yeah.
was my original. What I originally wanted my OC to be was a Draconequist, but I couldn't do it. I could not find the inspiration to do it. So I ended up.
It's definitely tough, I want to say.
On paper, it sounds like fun, like playing in Gary's Mod Creative all day long, but you're gonna get bored really fast, I think.
There's definitely people who can do it, though.
Yeah, unless you find a way. Yeah, oh yeah, I believe you that there are people out there that could probably do it. I don't know how I could do it, other than to make the. I mean, I see now. I have ideas. Dang it! But no, I'm sticking with Bliss. I like the thing is that I like the challenge. I like to see. Can I prove myself wrong? Can I make a good Draconicus OC? Can I prove people wrong that I can make a good one? Challenge accepted.
I believe you
I
can.
totally think like designing it could be difficult, but like I would love to see a really well designed one, like Pandora. I'm thinking of aesthetics, and I'm like, ooh, a Draconicus OC. How are you gonna make it look? How are you gonna be a little different than freaking Discord, but like make it your own? I'm very interested in seeing that. That's why I
Alrighty
really
then.
like the introduction of that one character that Discord was affiliated with for a while. What was her name? From the comics. And
Oh,
she
it
was
was
like,
I think it was Entropy.
was that her name? Well, what you get it? She was kind of a female Draconicus design, but she was totally different from Discord.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then. So did anybody else see something from the chat that they wanted to address that I didn't copy over?
No.
Okay. So the last question for the night here is, if I became an Alicorn OC, what would happen?
You would gain a horn.
Okay.
That's it?
Would I just look like a unicorn?
He's already got wings.
Yeah, would I just look like a unicorn? Because I said that at the end of Stranger Than Fanfiction. I was like, oh, they should just make me an Alicorn, but I'd probably just look like a unicorn, and that would just defeat the whole purpose now, wouldn't it? And,
Yeah.
I gotta
That's
say,
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, sorry.
You would be a unicorn with Earth Pony powers that could walk on clouds.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm trying to imagine your OC with a horn on its head, and I really don't like the way it looks.
Neither do I.
Your head is not good for a horn.
Yeah.
Just get the Alicorn amulet. Get the Alicorn amulet. It'll look good with your brace. It'll look good with your blade.
a long time ago, Kichi and I did Brony the Unicorn. It was a parody of Charlie the Unicorn, and she freaking taped a toilet paper tube to my head. And that was my horn.
I love it.
I like that.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, no offense, you wouldn't. It's not that I don't think you would make a good Alicorn if you made one. It's that at this point, you'd have to have a really good buck to the face in order for it to be justified.
I'm sure I would. Okay, so let's wrap this up for tonight. We've gone pretty long here. Bliss, what did you learn tonight? Give us some closing thoughts.
I definitely learned just because somebody says I am related to Celestia and Luna, or I am the hybrid of Chrysalis and Summer, does not automatically mean I am going to be a bad OC. Give it a chance first before you immediately pass judgment.
Alrighty then. Sunshine, what did you learn tonight?
What did I learn? Well, I learned on when how to explain why I created an Alicorn OC, because I would have never thought of why before.
Hopefully that'll reflect in your writing as we go forward. So a
Yeah,
little bit.
hopefully I'll be able to write.
Let me just explain this real quick to the audience here, so they have some context, and it's going to be a little bit of a self plug. At the $25 tier on my Patreon, I can teach you some of the things I know how to do, like writing, photography, fitness, things like that. Video making. Sunshine here is on that tier and asked me to teach him video production. So we're starting with the writing, and once we get past that, then I'll actually be able to teach him all the technical aspects of it. So that's what we're talking about there. Hopefully him and I can make some progress here and in the near future, and he'll have some of his own content as well. You do stream on Twitch though, don't you?
Yes, I do stream on Twitch with Princess Sunshine Sparkle, all one word. I stream every Sunday. I do Dungeons and Dragons. Every Monday I do Persona 5 Royal, and Tuesday is a coin flip.
Alrighty then. So Heather, what did you learn tonight?
To quote a very wise mayor, and sometimes you, I didn't learn anything. I was right all along. I learned I break a lot of barriers and tropes, and that I'm super open-minded. Who would have thought?
Bryan.
I liked hearing about everyone else and their experiences with like just everyone comes along doing their OCs a different way, and it's just so fascinating to me, and concepts that you couldn't think of yourself being able to work, other people can, and that's awesome. Fandoms are great. I love being here.
Yeah. Really quick, Firepot, if you donate Bronny's Patreon $1, he'll invite you to his Discord.
Yep, and then there's higher tiers that have more perks too. But Cordero, what did you learn tonight?
I learned that Brony has an OnlyCorns account where you can pay to get nudes of his newly ascended Alicorn OC.
Oh, hell yeah! Take my money!
Really? Because this is news to me!
Link in the description. You have to be a $50
I didn't know it! No, you do not! Okay, because I actually have a $50 tier and you do...
So, yeah, I'll draw some art for the $50 patrons. And saucy...
hang on just a second. Hold on. I'm just go over here real quick.
Oh, shit, he's coming! Oh, shit! We don't even live together yet! Oh, God! Oh! Imagine when I do live with him!
Okay.
Yeah, you're doomed.
I'm back.
You're on your own, kid.
I'm back. I feel better. What did I miss? Anything?
No.
If you happen to hear something that sort of sounded like a head being slammed in the door, I promise you are having auditory hallucinations. You should probably look into that. It might be an aneurysm.
Ah, crap! I'm gonna have to check his head after this.
Alrighty then. So, thanks for coming out. This was a great stream tonight, and I know we went very over time, but I hope it was fun. Did everybody have fun tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel called out.
Bliss, thank you so much for coming on. Heather, thank you so much for coming on. Cordero, you two, and Sunshine, thank you so much for suggesting this topic. I'm just glad that I could finally get it to you, because you literally suggested it every single time I opened up suggestions. Hopefully we'll get some other suggestions from you. If you would like to get on this show, I would love to have you. It only takes $1 a month. You join up on my Patreon. I have other tiers with more perks as well. You get into the Discord server where you can get on this show, where you can make suggestions to play games during Friday night fights. Your topic suggestions for Brony Debates Live get taken first. They get priority. I'm extremely grateful to every little bit that I get. It helps me a lot, helps me make content, helps me pay my bills. I'm especially grateful to the $10 and up tier that get this shout out, including Pony Cordero here, Sunshine, as well as Princess Heather Blossom. There's also Shady Oak Ministries, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Sodden, Girder, Senko, Kyle Christensen, DJ Skywalker, Stephen A. Wilson, Rein-Kun, Bootleg Bard, and Dark Malcontent, author of the Metaverse series. Please check out all of their links in the description. Thank them for their support. If you want to hang out with us some more, tomorrow night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be on Princess Heather Blossom's channel reading the chat for Chaos and Crochet. You guys should all just come and hang out with us in the call or in the chat. That'd be great. Bliss, we'd love to see you there.
Of course.
And next week, Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing Friday night fights. I don't know what the game is yet, but it'll probably be fun. You get to come on and watch me suffer. So with that, I think we are all set. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Have a happy Easter if you're gonna celebrate Easter. God bless and stay safe until the next time I see you. Say goodnight, everyone.
Later.
See you guys around the multiverse.
Bye.